We should probably do a little introduction. Well, I'm Dave. You should say like I'm Kristen.
I'm Kristen.
All right, and this is Accidental Nonsense. There we go. That's perfect. All
We'll
right.
have to get a better intro.
And I think I had a couple things wrote down just to talk about, just to kick off the podcast. But I probably should have started the podcast like forever ago because I've been wanting to start a podcast for like years now.
Why?
I don't know. I just always wanted to start a podcast, and now look, I got a mic, I got a headset, I got
You
all
like
this cool
hearing
stuff.
your own voice?
I can hear myself in my headset here. So, anyways, all right. So let's start it off. Let me see what questions I have. New Year's resolutions. We just passed New Year's. Did you do anything for New Year's? Or what are your normal traditions for New Year's? I know we've been together plenty of times for New Year's, but what do you normally like to do?
I like to just watch the ball drop and spray silly string.
Now, does the so Kristen lives in China. I'm in the United States. Does China have their own balls that they drop?
And they drop lots of balls.
Like what do they do? What do they do over there?
I don't know. Stuff got canceled here because people got trampled one year. So
it's like the running with the bulls over there.
Yeah. It gets wild. So the past few years, I don't think they've had much besides little small parties. People usually go to like clubs and stuff. I don't know. I've heard that they have some sort of downtown celebration, but I've never seen it here. So one year people got trampled after fireworks, so they stopped doing
Why do
whatever
people get trampled after fireworks?
People got too excited.
And they just start running?
They just start running.
They thought that was like, what, a gunfire?
No, just normal. Just normal crowds.
Just normal running? Just normal running crowds? Like in China, it's like you go to a coffee shop, you just got to watch out.
Yeah, you just got to watch out. There's too many people.
Well, I say that because like here in the States, as you know, Times Square, it just seems really boring compared to like everybody else's celebrations around the world.
Yeah, it is. Have you been? You were at Times Square, right?
So yeah, so we went to Times Square. Me and Selah went to Times Square. I don't even know, like a decade ago now, and we got down there and they followed us into those little like compartments. You were there, right?
Yeah, I've been once. Never again.
They push everybody into these little like herding them like cattle into like these fences, and then close off the fences. And it was so cold, and we were there about 3 hours before the ball dropped, and we were in these little like fenced-in areas, and I think they were throwing us like wheat and stuff to eat. I don't even know what they were doing, but
Right.
But then it got to be like 2 hours before the ball dropped, and then we're like, it's really cold. And then if we didn't, so we ended up leaving early. We never actually saw the ball drop, but we experienced it all, so it didn't really matter.
You didn't even experience it.
No, we didn't see the ball drop.
I did the real way. I was there for like 12 hours waiting.
Well,
I didn't drink anything all day.
We got in late, and we had pretty good view of the ball, but we ended up leaving because the train where we were going, I think one of the train, the way the schedule was set up, we would have ended up not getting back till like 3 a.m. But yeah, I don't know. It was worth leaving though. I think nothing too exciting.
But resolutions. I don't really I make resolutions, but then I never do them.
See, that's why I never make resolutions. I did this year. My one resolution was to start a podcast, so.
Well, there we go.
So now I'm good to go. And then also my other one was not to get COVID, so I already lost that one.
My resolution this year was to not make any big plans because I feel like when I make big plans, they don't end up happening. So I figured I would do a lot of little tiny things and then see what happens.
Don't make any plans.
Yeah, don't make any
big plans will happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think New Year's resolutions are stupid though. Because people just might as well. It's just a fun thing to do during the year.
It's a
Ho-
good time to have an excuse to try and be a new person.
Right. Well, and there are definitely pointless during the pandemic because I don't know, everything changes all the time, anyways.
Well, yeah, you never know. Speaking of pandemic, things are flaming back up here.
Flaming. People
Yeah,
are getting people are getting
it's an
trampled
it's
and
a
things
new
are flaming
variant.
back up. There's
It's
a
a
what
new
variant?
variant.
The flame one.
Yeah, yeah, people just catch
We
fire.
we keep getting messages that the pandemic is that cases are dropping and things are coming to an end, but then the next thing you know, they say that everything's rising up and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
Speaking of the pandemic, it's been going on for like 2 years now, right? 2020
Yeah,
of
2 years.
yeah, about 2 years
2 years exactly almost.
over 2 years probably
Yeah.
is when everything starting over there. But um, so what have you what have you been doing during the pandemic? Like, how do you keep busy?
You're looking at it.
What, just podcasting?
um, yeah, I just sit here on the couch,
Just sit here by yourself and just podcast.
twiddle my thumbs. 2 years. Um, it's been well, here in China, after the first few months after it started, things pretty much got back to normal here. So we've been back to normal for about, I mean, a year and a half or more. Um, so really, I've been able to travel around China. I mean, cases will pop up in random areas, but as soon as they do, they have everything on lockdown. So they have people testing and quarantining, and they try and get it shut down pretty quickly. Um, so it's been nice here in the sense that we've been able to travel and go to different places, and like life's been pretty normal without having to worry about catching COVID. Up until recently, there's been a few more cases coming up of Omicron and everything, but so far it's been life as usual. We just can't leave outside of the country and come back in. It's just too difficult.
See, I feel like here they wanted to do the whole like everybody just shut down for 2 weeks, but then everything's gonna go back to normal, and then now it's still like 2 years and it's still the same old, and then it got worse when the vaccine came out because I feel like they're like, oh, vaccine's out, whoever's vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, go do whatever you want, and then so now it's just like it just keeps spreading.
Well, that's what was funny because when it happened here, I remember saying to someone, I was like, "Man, the states better hope they don't get this because they won't. It'll go crazy there." And then obviously it did, but it just the different types of government, they do things differently and they have the power to do things differently.
Right,
So,
which is fine. I mean,
but yeah, because here when we locked down here, a lot of it was by choice too. No one really told us to, at least in Shanghai. Everybody was just, it was very new, so everyone was scared, so everyone stayed inside.
right,
And
right.
then, of course, they have the manpower to do a lot more. And so that it was just very different because the states kind of locked down, but it seemed very different from what happened here. Like people actually like stayed home.
They just
Uh,
closed a few stores.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I still did. I probably did more traveling though during the pandemic than I've done. Obviously not out of the states because I'm scared of flying and stuff. But but we like
Take a boat.
traveled. We did a big road trip to Texas. We've been, I don't know. We just drove like everywhere. And I think that was just a way of just like getting out of the house because you get so sick of like working from home and like doing things from home and then being around the kids at home. So we just traveled like everywhere.
Yeah, and really like a road trip as long as I mean, aren't most rest stops and stuff? I heard a lot of people talking about how those rest stops where, you would have the food courts. A lot of them were closed now, even.
Yeah,
Uh,
some of that was when we traveled down to Texas. It wasn't really. I'm trying to think. That was towards like more of like once everything started opening back up though, because the vaccine was out. So like things were more like open, and there was definitely just people everywhere. But it was fun. It was worth it. And speaking of
what was
travel
your
though,
favorite part
good
of Texas?
favorites. Uh, probably, probably the we saw the cattle like drive thing in Fort Worth, Texas, and Dallas. They like the Longhorns.
That's their practice for New Year's Eve.
No, no, we were. I don't know. Do they like launch off like? Yeah, instead of like people getting trampled, they have just like cattle walking down the street. Um, but no, the Fort Worth cattle drive, they do it like I don't know, every day or something like that. I don't know. But all these Longhorns just march down the street at the old stockyards there. So that was kind of cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know why that was my favorite. I think that's probably just the most memorable because you don't see like
You
just
like
like
the horns?
you don't see Longhorns just marching down the street in your daily life normally. So.
Not anymore.
So so there was this one thing in China, and I think we talked about it before. I forget what it's called, but you might know what it's called. Those planks that you could walk on the side of the mountain with. You remember that trail? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
It's like people have to climb like they walk way up
Where
into the
is
mountain,
that?
and then they have to like strap on and then climb down this like tiny ladder, and then they walk basically
Is
curdled
that at the
against the.
Yellow Mountains? Is that where that is?
I think so. I don't know. But
Yeah, I
anyways,
would never do that.
that was the one place where like in in China, I was like, that'd be fun to do. Just like strap a
Maybe we do
GoPro
that.
camera to you, and then I mean, obviously, I'd probably get down the first block of it, and then probably freeze, and be like, you need to call somebody to pull me out.
See, I don't think I could even make it out onto the walkway.
Hold up. Well, even like walking up, I don't know if you've
It's
seen videos.
basically like a tiny plank of wood, right?
Yeah, I
And you're
don't.
basically on the side of this mountain.
It's the plank walk. I don't know if you've um seen like videos of people like starting from the bottom and actually walking all the way up or whatever. But even like the travel up, they're like, it looks like they're climbing a ladder just to get up onto the top of this mountain. So
Yeah, it's crazy. They also really like glass bridges. There's so many glass bridges here. Um, and they'll give you little booties to put on. Most of them, you'll get little booties to keep the glass clean.
what's a booty?
Um, just, you know,
All right.
to put over your shoe.
Oh, because they don't want it to get all scuffed up.
They're scary. They're scary, yeah.
All right. So can you see my video now?
No, not right now.
Oh, bummer. Because I was going to just show you the picture of the thing I was talking about. It's like the Hushan plank walk.
Oh, Huashan?
Sure. But it's I always like watch videos of things that scare me all the time on YouTube. I don't know if you've done that or
Just
if
for the thrill.
yeah, well like there's other videos of have you ever seen the so I guess we could just talk about fears now real quick. Cuz have you ever seen those guys who like try to travel through those like tight caves
Oh, yeah.
and they have to like squeeze through and they go down in them and they can barely like fit?
Yeah, yeah.
So like obviously, planes like heights and stuff scare me, but then also like being trapped in tight places. So I just like watch these videos because obviously I would never do that, but but these guys are like,
But you like to see other people do it.
yeah, well, because they're in there and they're like, oh, it's tight. I think I'm stuck. I'm like, what the heck? That's terrifying. You're like down in like underneath the
And
earth
it's
with like
kind of
nowhere
a
out.
one way, you know? You can't really turn
Yeah, you
around.
got to come back, and I don't
If you
even know how they
could.
come back.
They don't.
Well, there was a guy in the States, somewhere out west, I think. He went down in a cave and he went down head first down like one of the sections, and then it just like fell, and so he got like jam stuck in there, and he was like backwards, so they couldn't even feed him, so he just ended up dying in there.
No.
Yeah, I don't. They say they don't know what he died from. He either died from like just
Suffocation?
suffocation with losing air or like food. I don't know, but
Dang.
yeah, because you don't know where
That's
you're
why you
going in
won't do
there.
that stuff.
No, and that's where they always tell you
I
to
don't
go
know.
feet first.
See, those are the kind of things where I'm like, would it suck to die this way? It's not worth it.
All right, what's the worst way that you would want to die?
That I would want to?
Yeah, like if you had to choose like how to die, what is the absolute
I
worst
mean,
way?
I
Like if
mean,
you had
if
to
I had
pick
to
a
choose.
terrible way to die.
Oh, so the worst way that I wouldn't want to die.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's how you put it.
Probably just like, I mean, something stupid like,
Like choking on
I don't know,
meatloaf.
like tripping and hitting my head or something, or like,
Yeah, but is that really a
yeah,
worst way to die though? Because like you don't feel any pain, would you?
it depends what I hit my head on.
I mean, if you just get like knocked down split second.
I mean, probably something where it's like takes a long time and I have to sit there and be scared.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I
Like
was
that
gonna
man who
say,
got trapped in a hole.
yeah,
Like getting trapped in a
because then
hole
it's like
would be awful.
torture.
Yeah.
Like
And
for
you're
me, I
stuck.
would hate to be like somebody put me in a small safe and then loaded me on an airplane, and the safe is like see through, and then like I'm on an airplane, and then they threw me out of the airplane, and now I'm just like falling towards the ground in a tiny safe. Do you know what I
That'd be
mean?
interesting. But at least you could see.
I mean, you could see, but then that's the fear of it is like
That's
you're
why
going
it's
towards the
scary and
ground,
you can't do anything.
and you're like in
Do
like
they
a little,
have
and
do
you're
they
like a little
have
ball.
seeker safe?
I mean, I don't
What
know.
would be the
This is
seeker
just a
safe? That would be the robber's worst like nightmare. He could see everything he wants to steal but can't get to it.
yeah, sure. And I'm in it.
He wants
So
to steal you.
I'm just saying, like just being in a closed space like that, super high, and somebody throws me out of a plane, and I know I'm gonna
Yeah,
die.
and there's no parachute.
No, I'm in a safe. I'm in
But you'd be safe.
I'm in a glass safe. So
So it's not a very good safe if it's glass. You could just break out of it.
well, I think that makes it even worse because when I hit the ground, it's just gonna be even worse then.
Then you get all the shards.
Yeah, all the shards are shooting shooting through me. So happy New Year. That's what it is.
You thought about this.
I
I
did,
didn't have
but
time to think.
that's my worst. No, actually, I just thought about that often. I think about the ways I die often. So
Do you?
yeah. All right. So Christmas just came up. We just talked about New Year's. Christmas just came up too. What's the best gift you ever got, and then the worst gift you ever got?
Oh, the best gift. I think one of them would be a Fujifilm camera. I like photography and taking photos, and so one of the best would be that.
Is
The
that those ones
worst.
you take a picture and then they're automatically printed off?
Well, that's a Polaroid camera, but this is just like a normal
Oh, okay.
Fujifilm, but the same brand.
Gotcha.
Um, but I did get one of those too, so that could be the top two. Um, the worst gift? The worst gift would be, as much as I like them, Christmas socks, because you get them on Christmas Day, and then I feel like I can't wear them again for another year. So when you get Christmas stuff on Christmas Day, it's like, well, you should have given this to me a month ago. Then I could have used it up until Christmas.
So you're talking about like socks that have like Christmas decorations on them and stuff?
Yeah, like reindeers and Santas.
I
'Cause then
still wear
get
those
them on
things year
Christmas
round.
Day. Guess you can.
See, I used to say like my worst gift was like clothes, right? Because I never used to really care about clothes as much. So that used to be my like worst gifts. But now lately, since I've gotten older, I was just like, give me clothes. I just want
That's all you
clothes.
want them.
That's all
Well,
I
you
want is
need them
clothes.
because all your tennis shoes have holes in them.
They do. I was actually just
I've
talking
never
to
seen
somebody
you
the other
without
day.
holes in your shoes.
I was talking to somebody the other day about how like I wear my shoes till like my bottom of my foot hit the floor, and then that's when I buy new shoes. Like
That's
if
when you
there's
know. When your
if
feet
my
start bleeding.
yeah, if my bare foot is not hitting the floor, then I am still good to go with these shoes. Do not buy new shoes. And I
Have
also
you
don't.
thought about getting barefoot shoes?
No, I haven't. You should send me some.
Might save you some time.
But yeah, so like all my shoes, like even at training, like when we were at the training school, like my dress shoes like just were torn apart. The whole like sole of the shoe was ripped off, and I still was wearing them. So there was like
What do
nothing
you do
left
to
to
your
them.
shoes?
I walk a lot. I went to New Year's celebration in China once, and we had to run so far so we didn't get trampled. No, my best gift is probably. See, I didn't think about this one either, so I'm not really sure. I would probably say my best gift.
Your wedding
Christmas
day.
No, because that was more
Okay.
after Christmas.
That was New Year's.
Yeah, that was my New Year's gift. I would probably just say a video game system. I would have to say that would probably be my best gift, which is kind of boring, but like I was like passing time playing video games and stuff. So I would have to say my best gift for Christmas was always whenever I would get a new video game. Like I'm thinking like growing up too. Like yeah, that's probably it, and probably still even now today. So
Yeah, I remember when you never let me play video games with you.
well, actually that's funny. It's funny because it's funny we're starting this podcast
And here
together
you are.
because you used to hate me growing up, and now it's going to be a nice little bonding experience.
Yeah, this is the first time we've spoken.
We haven't spoken in like 15 years.
And
Ever since
which,
you threw pudding salad
I
at me.
guess. What salad?
I don't know. Go ahead,
I
what
don't
were you
think I
saying?
would have. I wouldn't have wasted a salad.
Do you remember my hamster?
You had a hamster? Or
The
I
guinea
remember
pig?
my hamster.
No, yeah, I had a hamster, and it died.
You know the guinea pig. Don't
Yeah,
they
I
all?
had a hamster. Do you remember down in Ohio, in that one, like, the basement was, like, kind of like concrete there? There was that back, like, concrete room in Mount Vernon. And I had a hamster. And I never played with it, though. And then one day I just looked in it, and it was like, you know, obviously the legs were stiff. It was
Oh.
dead.
Did you feed it?
I don't know. I always
Okay.
I always wanted a hamster, but then it just never like worked out. Like I just didn't care about playing with it.
You know, I've heard that if you have two hamsters, most likely one always kills the other. Like they're kind of vicious
Yeah, I think I only had one
with each
because
other.
I don't know how. If I had two, the other one definitely like froze it to death or something because that thing was stiff as a rock, and there was there was no blood.
No.
What's your favorite holiday?
I mean Christmas.
Yeah, I lump up for
Especially
me.
somewhere cold. You got the snow, you can have like a fire and hot chocolate.
Yeah, I lump up
Jesus.
the Christmas and New Year's all in one swoop because I like that whole week. I like the whole week of Christmas leading into New Year's. That was always like the funnest time for me.
It's like nothing counts during that week.
Right.
You
It's
can
like
just do anything.
it's like you're free.
You're not in
Yep.
a new year, really. You're not in an old year.
Right. It's like you just got released from
It's
a
a
glass
void.
safe
Yes, without hitting the ground.
without it in the ground. You saved yourself. So we're gonna be starting more of these podcasts, and we'll probably get better at it as we go. I think
Hopefully.
more episodes. This was just an introductory episode. Maybe we'll have other people join us and stuff, and do different things and talk about different stuff and different topics. This is more just an introductory episode where we just talk about random stuff. I think that was the whole concept of it, right?
Right. I mean, it's just nonsense, so.
It's just nonsense. Just there's so much going on in the whole thing, and then hopefully it all makes sense. But we'll get better at it, and we'll have a better intro. We'll have other stuff going on. I have a
Speaking
couple
of
more.
intro,
Yeah.
we should do an outro where we actually say how we know each other.
Can we do that in the intro?
Well, we already did our intro, so now we'll have to do an
Okay.
outro.
So in like a couple minutes, we'll do an outro.
Okay.
Okay. I had one more. I had another question, and obviously this like first episode, I was just throwing a bunch of stuff down that we could talk about just to talk about it, right? And so I had another one was like, do you have any habits that are hard to break?
Ooh, eating chips.
I guess that goes in with like New Year's resolutions, kind of. I guess so. It all wraps up together. You said eating
Yeah,
chips is a
it's
habit.
all one thing. Yeah. I
You just
can't
eat-
buy a big bag of chips. I just eat them.
You just eat them. You just anytime you're walking down the street, you see
Just
a chip. You're gonna
eat 'em.
eat it. It's like there's a chip right
I'm
there on
just
the
a
ground.
chip.
That's my chip.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat that chip.
See, mine used to be like biting my nails, and I actually stopped like a month ago. And I look
Just
at
a
my
month
nails, and
ago,
I'm
huh?
like, because, well,
Are
yeah,
they nice and long?
like My wife, and I just say my wife because I don't even know who will listen to this, and who knows. But they were really long. But then I cut them with like the nail clipper things that they make. I used to
Yeah,
buy
they
them.
make them.
They had nail clippers, and they don't look any better than when I used to buy them.
But your teeth
So I
might
might
look
go.
better.
So I might go back into the habit of biting them again.
We'll see.
But that was a habit that is hard to break for me. Besides that, it's definitely just another habit. I guess is just overeating, because there's times where I'll sit down and then I could just eat everything without
You just
stopping.
gorge yourself.
Gorge eating.
It's
Or
easy because, and sometimes you don't even pay attention. I've realized I'll start eating fast and I start choking. And I'm like, I'm barely chewing my food. I need to slow down.
well, that's
But you need
that's
to be
like
more mindful.
and if it tastes good, like for me, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna eat as much as I can because it just tastes good. So I'm just gonna keep eating. And
And you just
you're
want
more in like fitness now, right?
Right. I'm a personal trainer.
You're a personal trainer. All right. So Kristen's a personal
Right.
trainer. I'm just a guy that sits at home and podcast
Yeah. And wears down his shoes.
and wears down my shoes from not
That's how
going to
you
the
do
gym.
it. You're on that spinny chair, just
That's right.
rolling around.
I'm just rolling around. It's called a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, oh, did I? You were talking about eating fast. So when we were on vacation, we went to a Brazilian steakhouse. Did I ever send you the photo of
Ooh.
when I bit my tongue?
Yeah, you did. It was
I, sh-
nasty.
I should edit that into when I make the YouTube clip for this podcast, so then we could show
I don't
people
think
right
people
now.
want to see that.
So real quick
We're not
story.
going to be those people.
Real quick story time. I went to I was at a Brazilian steakhouse. I was aggressively chewing my meats, and I and I bit my tongue so hard it ruined the rest of the dinner for me. And then I had to go to the ER because I was bleeding like crazy. My mouth was it was bleeding pretty bad, and I was like, I probably need stitches on my tongue. Do they even do stitches on my tongue? So then I was all freaking out because I was like, what would they do with my tongue? Are they gonna just have to cut it off? I don't know. So I went to an ER. No, not an ER. Was it an ER? Yeah, it was an emergency room. So I went to the ER, and
Hospice.
I went to hospice, and then they put me down. No, I go in there, and the nurses were just kind of like, let me see. Oh, yeah, you got yourself good. Let me just get the doctor and see if you're good to go, because you might not even have to wait. So they go back and get the doctor, and the doctor comes in and says, yeah, you got yourself pretty good, but you should be fine. And then they just let me go. And in reality, looking back at it, I should have just kept leaving because they didn't take any of my intake information first. But, I was a good boy, and I waited, and I gave them my intake information. They said wait in the waiting room, but I was like, you already checked me out. I could just, leave the hospital. So anyways, I ended up waiting. But when I was on my way out, the nurse was like, yeah, and just try to not chew your meats too hard. I was like, I felt so stupid. But, it did look really bad. And if you've seen the photo, it looked really bad. So
Yeah, you love your meats.
I love my meats. And that was my first time eating red meat in, a long time.
Is it true that if you cut a little bit of your tongue off, it'll regrow?
I'm going to say yes because that would seem like a pretty big hole in my mouth, and it regrew.
It regrew.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing, though? Like, you chop your tongue off and
I
grow
don't
back like a
know.
starfish?
I don't know why I thought that was a thing or a myth or something, but I've heard that.
Because you ever, like a starfish, they can let their legs... A starfish can let their legs, go. Like, they can detach
Well,
their legs.
we evolved from starfish. That's why they have the arms and legs.
We evolved from starfish.
Yeah.
So we were first created as starfish, and then we slowly just grew.
Yeah, basically. Limbs
your
kept getting chopped off, and that's
So-
how it multiplied. And
So maybe we'll have one episode where we cut off a piece of our tongues, and then we'll see if it grows back by the next episode.
we'll see how long it takes.
No, there was another thing. When we were traveling down to the beach, I was driving, and I was looking at we went through one tunnel. The whole way down, we went through one tunnel. And so then I was like, do we need tunnels? Are tunnels a necessity in, everyday life? Couldn't they just build the road over the mountain?
I mean, it would take longer, right?
Does it, though? Because I
It's
feel like I
quicker
was
to just.
driving and there was just like a tiny mountain, and they could have easily just like went right around it.
I guess it depends on how big the mountain is.
I guess it
There was a
depends where's the
mountain
tunnel is too.
here where a truck was going in the wrong direction. He followed the GPS the wrong way and got stuck on the top of this mountain.
I saw that photo. Was that one where it was like hanging off the edge?
He was hanging off the edge of this huge cliff.
That is terrifying.
Um, Somehow didn't see that he was going the wrong way.
That is
But a
terrifying.
mountain, you have to go really slow up those curves. So obviously it would be quicker to just go through.
Yeah, I guess.
But then we could have tunnels through anything.
See, tunnels freak me out too, because then I'm like, how do
What
I
if it
know?
collapses?
I mean, I played in the sand plenty of times where I made a tunnel and it collapsed, you know? So I'm not like,
Yeah, and that's probably just as sturdy as theirs, right?
that's like the same thing. It's the same concept. You dig a hole through a mountain. So, all right,
I don't.
outro, because we're getting
Well,
to,
first,
I have a little
I have
timer.
one question
Yeah.
for you. I have a would you rather. Would you rather have cacti for eyebrows or aloe vera constantly drip from your nose?
I'm going to say, aloe vera dripping from my nose, because I feel like you can make that a business.
You could use it.
You just bottle it.
You could
Bottle
sell
your
it.
nose aloe vera
You
and then
could
sell it.
sell it like that woman who sells her farts.
That's right. We'll have to talk about that in another podcast about the fart selling woman. But yeah, I would probably do aloe vera flowing from my nose because I think there's more opportunity for that. Is it like a constant thing though?
Yeah, constant.
Because I feel like,
Or like, I don't know, 10 hours out of the day.
what was the other one? The porcupine eyebrows?
You have a cactus
Oh,
eyebrows.
cactus eyebrows. Yeah, I couldn't do that because I feel like that would get really annoying.
If you accidentally poked yourself.
Well, and then it's like you go to like hug someone or like hug your kids, and then it's just like you're
Well,
just constantly
when
hugging.
do you go face first into a hug?
I'm always going face first. Always, always. What would you pick?
I would choose the cactus eyebrows.
See, now you're not going to make a business out of that, though.
Cacti brows. Yeah, but
I mean, I'd have to quit my job probably if I had aloe vera flowing from my nose constantly. But I mean,
well, now people would look at you funny.
just lock me in a basement and then just
That's what happens after you get the fourth booster.
let me keep bottling my nose runnings. I do have I have that. I didn't bring it down here, but I had that party game thing. I was going to ask you questions too, but we'll do that another time because we're already at 33 minutes. The time goes by quick. Did you see
Nice.
this?
I can't see anything.
Oh, you'll see it once I edit everything and I put it on YouTube. Hopefully this works because we just spent 33 minutes of talking. Hopefully it wasn't for nothing. All right, outro time because we got to wrap it up. We got to keep it under 30 minutes so that we can do the 4 things a month. So, are you leading the outro?
Outro. I'm Kristen. This is David. We are brother and sister for 27 years, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
Haven't talked to each other in 15. Don't forget.
Haven't talked to each other in 15. Haven't seen each other in 2. So that's interesting.
Hopefully we'll be an in-person podcast together at some point down the line.
Hopefully when I'm mooching off you and living on your couch.
Well, I got a nice couch over here. So
Nice.
they make nice couches here.
In Ohio? Or no, New York.
New York. Yep. Right down Times Square. No, I'm just kidding. I would hate that.
New York